What's up, y'all? It's your host, Nkeshku. Y'all know me as Sensei Nk. I say thank you for clicking on this video. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. We have so much to get into. All right, let's get. As we know, once every week we get a new internet discourse that shapes the way conversations are being had for the totality of the week. And this week, Timothée Chalamet says, well, you know what? I feel like this doesn't even really work too much. He's basically, Timothée Chalamet says that he does not want to be in a dying art like opera and ballet. And you know what happens? The whole internet goes into a firestorm talking about he's one, untalented, 2, is disrespectful to the artist, and 3, it's just plain tacky. Who does this white boy think he is? And I find it all interesting because prior to this week, the discourse around opera and ballet was nearly incoherently undetectable, getting to the point where I ain't never seen nobody have a take about opera in the world of takes that we live in. I ain't hear one person talking about they love, they hate, their experience with either. And that is so depressing because guess what? We actually do need the fine arts. We actively need to see the world being able to encourage and consume some of these different forms of art. Because it kind of reminds me of theater in a sense, where opera, ballet, theater, they all live inside this same ecosystem of if you want to learn how to do this art, you kind of have to go through. It kind of reminds me of this one. It reminds me of this saying that Denzel once said, where if you want to be good, if you want to learn how to act, you go through the theater. If you want to make a whole bunch of money, you got to go get yourself a sitcom. But if you want to be famous, if you want to be truly famous, that's when you go and get you a blockbuster movie and then call it a day. But the talent is truly deep inside going to theater, opera, ballet, things of that nature. And one of the things I find interesting about this conversation is the fact that a lot of opera singers and ballet performers, they were all coming out like, well, it kind of is. It kind of is dying. And it kind of calls upon this feeling of it's thankless work, right? Because I remember I saw this video where this guy's like, well, Timothée Chalamet says that he doesn't want to go into the arts because it wouldn't be able to it doesn't pay well. Nobody seems to care. You're always going out your way to beg and plead and hope that you get new viewers and people would actually show up to the door when you have spent your whole life dedicating yourself to be good at this one particular act. And guess what? You ain't even gonna get paid like that. You don't get pennies on the dollar. You're gonna get pennies on the dollars. Being a part of an industry that is shown as thankless work will always feel demeaning in the long term, especially when you know that you're at the top of your game of what it means to be in opera or ballet or things of that nature. And I honestly think there's like a disconnect when it comes to the way that opera and ballet are even seen in the first place. Because of, if you were to ask the average individual what they think about opera or ballet, they might give you the type of, well, everyone goes in, it's a black tie event, everyone is dressed to the nines, and it's very snobby, and they don't really like the poor folks in. It's very much an us and in them type of scenario where you have to be of a certain type of class to be even let inside the door. And I feel like not only has that, I'm not even gonna say that is really much changed. There's been new stylistic versions that seems to be welcoming and ushering in this new Gen Z type of audience to actually go and consume this type of product. But it feels like it's been so long since there's been an average person being like, you know what? Let me take me and my kids to go see this show. See the, what is it? Not the Max Man. What's the Phantom of the Opera? There it is. Yes. And it is kind of difficult to try and change the perspective around the opera. Specifically, let's just stick with the opera. It's very difficult to change the way that we are going to be able to perceive a show like that when I have not seen no young people talking about the opera. Like I've literally never seen it, because we can even look at like the demographics of it and the demographics in general, where like the majority of the people that do watch operas and ballets and things of that nature are literally in Germany. Germans are the biggest consumer of that type of media. And I've also heard a lot of people talk about this. It feels like it's difficult to translate good opera for everybody to see if you are not going out of your way to go and watch and consume that type of art. Because of, I don't know if it's kind of in the theater where you get like consumed by the performances, because of not only is it great, but it creates this whole world that you have to not only suspend disbelief that you are watching in a sense like a movie, but you're not seeing like a not a movie quality, but you're not seeing a movie. You're literally seeing three people on a stage pretending, singing their hearts out, and you just have to be able to get so consumed into their process and what they're doing that you truly believe there's magic going on that stage. But let me stop thinking about the theater. Would I say that I've ever had like the pull to go see some of the arts in that nature? I've heard about it, but I've literally only heard about it in very specific spaces. Like when I was in New York, anytime I'm in New York, I hear some people that talk about like, oh, would you want to go and see this ballet performance? But that's only because like they actually know the people that are in the said ballet. So I feel like it's kind of difficult to get people that don't have a vested interest in watching this type of content, because it's like, even, you know what, let's even take a step back. One of the things that I've noticed, especially, it might just be like in American culture, there isn't really too much of a care for like quote unquote fine arts, or like the arts in general. We can see with the way that they're slashing every single arts budget around the country. But more so, even going to your kids' recitals or your kids, like, I don't know, they don't have opera for children, but theater events, let's say when your kids are acting in a play, it's drilled into you that is a terrible use of a 5 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. I get you. I feel it. I get it. But we cannot be surprised when they get older and folks just don't want to show up. Yeah. But I do want to go, though. I will say, I have been to, there was a performance that was happening at a museum where they were basically they're doing a whole production of like not an opera, but it was more theater. Yeah, it was more theater, where they're acting inside of the museum, where that was cool. I'll definitely will say it's very cool, but I feel like you need to get folks into that door to begin with. And I feel like folks are very excited. But back to Timothy Chalamet to begin with, because the main context of his conversation with Matthew McConaughey in the first place was like, yeah, he doesn't want it to get to a point where movies turn out to be this thankless job that people are just slowly not going to go to. He wants to be in an area where people are excited to go throw some money at this event because they know it's going to be a fun time, not that they have to like go and like dredge through an event like that. And I feel like that's just how it's been going in general, especially in movies. I do want to take this time to talk about the fact that every industry seems as if they are getting a downturn in general, because of like even something like movies. Y'all know The Bride flopped. I am so mad because of, I remember when that first the announcement that Christian Bale, Jake Gyllenhaal, and who's the lead actress? I think they were the last time that they acted together was from like Dark Knight, I think, if I'm remembering that well, but beyond the point. And it made, hold on, I got this written right here. It made 7.3 domestically and 13.6 worldwide. Brother, That was nearly $100 million movie. What is going on? We're having A-listers on the screen and we can't have people come out. Christian Bale is a home run. He is a talented guy. And he can't even make half the money back. That's not a good sign for the industry at large. And it kind of reminds me that every movie seems to be trying to force themselves to have a home run, but that's not what movies are for. I remember in the good old days, they will pull up with a random comedy, a random Adam Sandler 51st Dates type of movie will pull up on your screen, and everybody would go out their way to go see that movie. Is it a great movie? It's fine. It's cool. It's a great time. That's all his movies are. Fine, good, great, good times, right? And that movie would destroy the box office. And I feel like that's something that the industry is really missing out on. That's why I feel like the movie industry is truly moving out on. It's because it's like, man, I remember when all it would take, you would do a couple comedy shows, and then you go on a couple comedy circuits. You get into a comedy movie head by one of like the main guys. You can think of like a movie like the Other Guys, for example, or all of Adam Sandler's movies, or Kevin Hart's early stuff, where you got a chance to just throw a new batch of characters onto the screen. This is your first time ever seeing them. Everybody gets $300,000, $400,000. Actually, no. Everybody gets $100,000, and they say, act. Let's see what you got. Let's see how funny you could really be. And then after that, they take off. And that's where we are missing the recipes when it comes to movies, because of it used to be a place where the jumping off point would skyrocket a career. And guess what? It wouldn't even cost that much to make a comedy movie in the first place. And now it's a thing where it's like, yeah, man, I need Avengers, Age of Kang, Wartime, Dundrick. Let's blow up the moon as movie for it to even make half its money back. And that's no bueno. And I started thinking about comedy movies the other day. And I was like, man, comedy movies used to be some of the most bottom barrel, just like easiest fart poop, little racist jokes, little here, little there. And guess what? They were creating a movie for middle America to go turn their brain off and go, and that's all you needed. That's all. That's as funny as they needed to get. No highbrow, no low, just easy, simple, straight through the middle, where anybody anywhere could watch, right? And I was thinking about it because I watched Central Intelligence the other day, and I'm like, this is a very easy movie. It's a very easy movie. The Rock, was he acting? I mean, like, he was doing something. Kevin Hart, I mean, he was doing okay. They was chilling. He was chilling. There was some good action scenes here and there. It was a fun time. I enjoyed myself. But I remember when that movie first came out, I was ecstatic. I loved that movie. It was a great time. I genuinely, I was giving out laughs like that. And then I'm rewatching. I'm like, oh, this is very much just quick alley-oop, just dunk it. Just very calm, nothing too much, not pushing the boundaries, very chill. And I feel like we are missing out on that genre so much. And you know what? I feel like that's why I'm not too mad at Madea movies. People have been trying to get me to hate Madea movies for the longest. And every time I watch a Madea movie, anytime a Madea movie comes on, I'm like, you know what? Let him rock. Let him rock. What are we talking about? Because I feel like we are all pretending to hate Madea movies. That's really what it is. I feel like we're all BSing. And I was thinking about it the other day, right? Literally the only down parts about Madea movies is if you're in a Madea movie, you best be ready to only be in Madea movies. It kind of reminds me of, what's that one? It's not Baddies. Is it Baddies? Is it Baddies what I'm thinking of? Y'all remember Baddies, right? It kind of reminds me of Baddies, where you would think you'd go onto this show, millions of people would watch that show, and when you leave, you go on TikTok. That's all you got. You just go ahead, make some jokes on TikTok. That's all you got. This is how it's gonna play. And it's like, damn, you thought you was gonna blow off that. I thought you was gonna blow off that, and now it's just Cooks McGee over here. But I wish that we would go back to not needing movies to destroy every single box office, no matter what type of movie it is. Because if folks try to pitch, and it's Oscar season, it's Oscar. And I feel like that's what he knew it. Timothée Chalamet knew what he was doing. This is part of the Oscar press run. I hate when actors have to go above and beyond to create all this controversy around this, what's it called? Around this Oscar season, to keep themselves all in the headlines long enough where the guys are like, you know what? I've heard Timothée Chalamet's name 500 million times in the past 2 months. You know what? I'm going to vote for him too. You know what? The Oscars. It's probably going to be, the Oscars are probably over by the time y'all see this video. But if Sinners don't win this, y'all going to have to hear from me. Y'all gonna have to really hear from me. I don't care about Marty Supreme. What's some other movies? I think like there's 4 Oscar, there's 4 movies that tried to make Oscar movies this year. Hold on. I don't want to see Hammett. I really don't see one. I don't want to see one battle after another. Please don't sell me. Do not sell me this year. If it's not Sinners, I'm going to be very, very, very upset. There was a lot of movies last year they were hooping with movies. F1 was good. Bugania was good. Hammett was good. Marty Supreme was good. One battle after another was, y'all gonna piss me off with that movie, but Sinners. If it's not Sinners, y'all gonna have to see me. That's just how this movie thing is gonna go. I'm sorry. I cannot lie to you. Did y'all see Bam? I know this is not my Hoops channel. I know, but Bam was hooping. Bam put up 83. You know what? I'm not even going to go off the script of what I wanted to talk about. It makes me chuckle. The amount of folks that were angry, was furious that Bam got this 83 points. And you know what upsets me the most? Would you sub yourself out? Would you stop yourself? You got, what is it? You have 43 in the first half. You have more points than any human on earth has had your first half. You don't stop it there after beating LeBron? You almost there. And you know what? You only feel hotter. You feel like you could cook some more. You won't stop yourself. You say, hey, coach, we're already up by 20. Let me just call it a day. Or will you hoop? Will you show them what's what? Because we need to step back and really talk about this. Because for you to score 40 points in the NBA as a superstar is a lot. And it's even more when you are not even a scorer. Bam Adebayo is Draymond Green's evolution. That's it. That is it. He's here to play defense, grab some rebounds, and get a couple big body layup. Oh, you missed. Oh, let me put that back. Do you know what his career high was before this night? 41 points. 41. And he got 43 a half. You said, hold on, that's all you need. You don't need no more. I need it all. I want it all. Do you? Because of keep in mind when this was going on, I was watching the Spurs versus the Celtics. Potential finals matchup. Fantastic hoop. Wemby was hooping. Brown got ejected. It was hectic. It was pandemonium. There was still a lot of hoops. There's great hoops going on. And do you know what needs to happen for you to be able to have a historic night in the NBA? Number one, you have to play against a team that is so booty buns cheeks. You got to play a team that is so invested in losing that they're going to sit 2 of the top 20 players in the NBA. You have to be able to be so hot that everybody in your team says, you know what? This is your night. I know I have averages, but go ahead and shoot. Go ahead and hoop. You have to be so great that your coach says, you know what? We have a chance to change history. Go hoop. You have to have a coach that is so unselfish. You have to go out your way to force yourself to get that much buckets, because folks are sitting here and trying to act like anybody can do it. Oh, well, if Donovan Mitchell really wanted to like hoop, he could have went and got he could have got 83. Donovan Mitchell tried and he got 71. Stop it. Luka tried and he got 70. LeBron tried and he 59, I think. I think that's LeBron's career high. What's Steph's career high? I think Steph's is like 58, 59, something like that. But beyond the point, Kevin Durant don't got a 70-point game. Do you know how many humans got a 70-point game? Not too many. And you know what Bam did? He said, no. I'm going to be here and I'm going to prove a point. And guess what? Even when they were talking about, even when Bam was talking about getting to be able to surpass Kobe, he was like, you know what? I was just hooping. I wasn't even forced. He wasn't even forcing it. Everybody else was forcing it. And then they trying to say this is an unethical 83 piece. I have never heard somebody say an unethical set. We talk about ethics, and he just scored more points than a whole NBA team. What are we talking about? There are some teams that didn't score 83 that night. Like, what are we doing? What are we happening? And you talk about ethics? Because of he was shooting some free throws? Why are they following him? Do you know how bad a team has to be? Let's talk about the Wizards real quick. The Wizards are not only bad, they were so dog water that the players... let me not even talk about the players. Let me not even talk about the players. The coach had the gall to say this was not real basketball. So you didn't think it was real basketball when he had 40 on your head by halftime? You didn't think it was real hoops when he had 70 points going into the fourth? You didn't think, you know what, let me try and do something to stop this man from scoring every single bucket. You ain't tell your team, hey, can we just like not foul him for once? They sent him to the free throw line 43 times. It was like 46. It was insanity. And one of my favorite parts, want to know what my favorite parts is? While I was watching the Spurs game, my phone was lighting up. Motherfuckers I have not talked to since I was a freshman in college was texting me talking about, hey, yo, man, I know we ain't talking in a while, but Bam got 70. Bam got 70. Bam got Hutama Watan. Rashad McCann said if he had the opportunities, he could have went and got Bam's. I would have said Bam's 80. Nah. Rashad McCann said that if he had the chance, if he had the opportunity, he would have went and got Bam's 81 if his coach like left him in. And then they say, all right, y'all, let's end this. Let's wrap this episode up. Try to laugh him off like a joke. But you know what I want to tell you? The NBA is built on circumstances and potential and opportunity. Victor Wembanyama had 25 points in like 8 minutes. And do you know what happened? They sat him down multiple times in that game. He ended the game with like 40 points in like 26-ish minutes, right? Now I got one more thing I want to say about that. If folks were serious about their hoops, if they truly wanted to put up some buckets, they would stop robbing these players of opportunities to be historic. Because guess what? You only get one shot. You will only have one shot to push yourselves to the heights of getting 75 points plus. If you are not Wilt, you are not built like that. I swear to you. I promise you. If you are not Wilt Chamberlain in them paints, if you're not Wilt Chamberlain with the ball in your hand, You will never get that chance. What's the only guy that got multiple 70-point games? Name another guy. I'll wait. Jordan got 69. That's his max. That's the quote unquote greatest score of all time. Maxed out at 69 points. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. But let's move on. Let's move on. It always frustrated me, right, when coaches would go out their way to stifle greatness, right? I was saying this earlier, because of not only do you only get so many chances to be able to like hit that greatness point, right, but you only got so many chances to change your legacy in the eyes of everyone. And you know what Bam just did? He has now cemented himself in the mountains of all time. He will not be forgotten. Bam Adebayo will not be forgotten. Melo will be forgotten before Bam Adebayo. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Is this not crazy? Are we not wilding? Like, oh, wow. And the first person that comes to mind that be stifling greatness, Steve Kerr. You be. Oh, we need to blow more teams out, because if you're going to trot out there some bumblebees, folks, you gotta get whooped on. I'm sorry, just get that belt. You gotta get that belt. But what else did I want to say about this game? Was it ethical? Maybe not. I will be honest. Let me be honest. That last 10 points was crazy. Never in my life have I seen 10 points be given in such a ridiculous fashion. But you know what? I can't even blame him. It went like, what was it? Free throw, missed jumper, free throw. Half court jump, half court shot, missed shot, free throw, all the way to beating Kobe. Is that a lot? Maybe a little bit. I get it. It is a lot. It definitely is a lot. But I think there's a lot of things that need to happen before you get to the position of fumbling the ball that hard. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And even when you look down at when you go down the greatest peaks or the greatest offensive outputs in a singular game, you'll see that they're putting belts on some pretty bad teams, on some pretty terrible teams. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of non-playoff, a lot of teams. So let me go through the different things that need to happen for you to be able to even like sniff a 70 points, a 65-point game, right? Number one, you have to be the singular scoring force on your team to begin with. That's one. Two, the team that you're going to be playing against got to be so garbanzo beans that they are not able to stop one guy, one offensive engine. Trash, right? And alongside that, you have to keep the game close enough for you not to be sitting. That's another really big part of it. Because usually when a team gets out ahead by like 30, 40, whatever it is, they tend to go and say, hey, man, you did enough. Mercy, right? Come sit right down next to me, Steve Kerr. And guess what? That will cut into the amount of time that you get to even play. You might end up missing out a whole quarter, i.e. Wembanyama. Wemby could have had the most points in a singular game. We'll talk about it a whole nother time. Eddie, soldier. You get to hoop him. And then for last but not least, when the game gets out of hand and is getting closer to the end, you have to, and I'm telling you, you will have to stay in. You'll have to stay in. And not even to mention, you got to be ready for some really, really bad hoops. You just do. That's just part of it. That's just part of it. Because it gets to the point where your teammates are forcing you the ball. It gets to the point where your coaches are calling things for you to continue to get the ball. You will get to the point where you will get triple team a la Bam, And guess what you gotta do? You gotta keep that ball to yourself. You gotta beat all three and then shoot that mug to get that last bucket. One more thing before I get off of Bam Adebayo. He makes being a Nigerian so unattainable. I know there was a lot of Nigerian parents. I know there's a lot of Nigerian parents that was looking at him and looking at me, like looking at your kid and just like, why can you not be great? Do you not have talents? Do you not have the same 24 hours that they do? Do you not have the same Nigerian blood that they also have? Parents, can we be honest? The Nigerian blood that you gave is not the same as the Nigerian blood that they're getting from their own Nigerian parents. I'm sorry. You said that you were the first. You said that you were the first in your class. All Nigerian parents say that you're the first in their own class. So who was really the first in your own class? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Goodbye. I remember I was partying out with my friends. You know what? Let me start this off differently. I always forget that people have different lives than we do. Just completely different lives. They doing things that we would have never thought of. They're out here living life that we thought would never touch us. And my homie was talking to me, right? And I remember I was doing a whole comedy bit around the idea of folks just be doing drugs. And you would never know. Folks just be out here smoking that pipe. They be lighting they stuff from a... I was making this joke where folks just be doing drugs. You will never know who light they stuff from the bottom instead of the top. And then he looked me in the eye. And then he told me, your homies be doing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Can we breathe? Can we breathe? And then we started doing some story times. It was funny. It was a great time. And then I remember the story comes up of a time when I was partying in a different state, right? We go chilling, we go boning, and we come back from boning. It's a great time. It's a lot of laughs, a lot of joy. We go partying. There's a rooftop. It's fire. It's highlight. It was beautiful. Beautiful people, beautiful drinks, beautiful food. It was fantastic. And we just moving around. We hanging out. My homie disappeared. Boom. I'm chilling by myself. I'm looking around. I don't know nobody. I don't see nobody I've met throughout this whole week that I've been here. This is a brand new face of 100 people, and I don't know what I'm about to do. So, I start shimmying. I start being the life of the party. I say, put it in the back, put it in the forward, put it to the side, put it to the other side. I find myself into this room, right? We chilling in this room. Well, This is where I feel like I messed up, right? I go back into the house, I go down the stairs, and then I walk into this beaded doors. There were so many beads that you cannot see through it. But the only thing that's stopping you from this side and that side is the thing that people put in hair. So I just mosey on through and gas. Air. Bunch of stuff start floating in the air. I'm confused. I'm shocked. I'm looking around. And I'm like, oh, so I've entered the smoking lounge. And you know what? I'm not too anti-smoking. Do what you do. Live your life. It's a fun time. It's nice, spice, and everything right. Live your truth, baby. We walking around. We chilling. I get to this room. Oh, yeah, this is a room inside the room. Catch up. Keep up. Everybody is putting so much things in their nose. I have never seen this much things going inside people's noses at one time. I was shocked. I yelled, but I had to hold it in so nobody would see that I'm the uncool guy. I look around to see if anybody catches me. No one notices. No one chills. We're cooling. I'm talking to some folks, and then out the corner of my eye, I see one dude that I met the first 4 hours being in this city. And you know what they doing? They throwing things in their nose. Throwing it in their nose. I'm shocked. I'm looking around in confusion. And then it clicks to me. You will never know what people be doing if you do not do them things that they be doing. And I was realizing, I guess I just don't give the vibes that I be doing stuff with my nose. And you know what? Shouts out. Thank you. Thank you for confirming this within myself. Because I was going to ask, I was going to see what the wave was. I was about to be like, oh my God, I didn't know this was your type of bag. And then I realized I can't ruin the fun. I can't ruin this is not my place. I'm a guest within this guestual homes. You got to be chill. You got to be vibed out. And as the night was going on, I started talking to my friend about it. It's like, hey, yo, bro, did you know that blah, 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 blah. And they said, oh, yeah, no, I know. Out here, folks just, like, do that. That's just, like, part of it, right? And then we started talking about some folks that we like, mutually know. And then he says, well, you know, it's, like, common, right? It's, like, it's where you be at, too. And I said, God forbid. I hold my necklace. I said, God forbid. I clutch my pearls with Jesus on it. So I said, not where I be. And then we started talking about it. I said, oh, yeah, no, you know, and I said, oh, because I generally thought that people would cap it out, or at least everybody that I've met, I have not gotten nose candy vibes from anybody that I be around, anybody that I've met, or just like randomly interact with in my 24, nearly 25 years, a quarter century of life. I thought it was cooked out at, you gotta drink, you gotta smoke, the devil's lettuce. That's it. That's the vibe. Nobody does it anymore. Nobody does anything more. Nobody does anything less. It's all blessed. It's great. We chilling. And then as the day would go on, I was thinking about it. You have to give a certain vibe for somebody to feel comfortable enough to offer you to be a part of this function. It needs to be a mutually concluded event where everybody is coming to the realization that it's a fun and lovely and connectivity piece upon this party. Because I recognize you don't want to ask somebody, hey, can I play in your nose? And have them say no. You don't want that interaction. It gets awkward. I'm getting awkward just thinking about that. And the more that I even go out through life, I realize there are certain areas where it's more readily available and more widely spoken about than others. There's more places where the average type of use would be you drink a little bit, you smoke a little bit, and you put stuff in your nose. And then I notice there'd be other places where you put something in your veins, and that's where I cross the line. That's where I cross that line. That's where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to even know about it. If that's your line, that's your line. But no, put something in your vein, baby. Crazy work. So it reminds me of this one time when I was out in New York, right? I need to stay away from New York. This is an evil place. This is an evil place. I remember I was at this party in New York, right? This is a whole different party, right? We went to a bar. It was chilling. It was cooling. And the same type of thing happened where it was me, 3 of my friends, and we're just exploring this bar. It was cool. It was fun. It was nice. And then there was this like secret underground area. There's always an underground area. Anytime that you go to the East Coast, just know if you are above sea level, there's going to be 3 floors down worth of evil demonic things that you should not be a part of. Or be a part of it if you're cool. There's a lot of things down there. I'm not saying do, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying we all got one life. So as we were partying upstairs, right? My friends disappear. Dudes, men. You know what? I know we all guys, but can we at least tap us on the shoulder? Let me know. Hey, man, I'm about to go exploring. Let me know so I know. Because the worst feeling in the world is when you out here, you chilling, you vibing. You think there's 5 motherfuckers you around with. You turn around, and there's no motherfuckers that you are around with. So I'm like, all right, fine. Let's hoop. So knowing me, I go, all right, I have to let me figure out the central most location in this bar. You find the bar. You find the bartender is chilling. There's this one specific area. You go, you pull, and then you stand there, and you get one vodka tonic or Amarillo sour or something like that to just like chill and get a basis, a landing point of where everything and everyone is around you, so you know who and where is the exits, right? So I'm standing there. I'm looking. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. I'm cooling. And then I see this one person. She was a model. She was this magazine that I remember I got like when I was, I want to say, let me not say younger for real, but this one magazine that I got while I was in college. I was like, oh shit, are you this person on blah, 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 blah? They're like, oh yeah, I am. So we start chopping it up. It was cool. It was fun. It was nice. And then she was like, oh, you're new to this place? Oh, this place gets even crazier when you go downstairs. I'm like, downstairs? There is no downstairs. We're on the bottom floor. What are we talking about? He says, let me show you. We go to an elevator. The elevator opens up. We walk through, and there's literally, I swear to foe, there's like 4 buttons. There's everybody just gets twice as bad. Everyone is just baddies everywhere. Motherfuckers, everyone got ass for some reason. Everyone got some Kinko jeans on. Everyone got some Geico shorts. I don't know what's going on. Everybody got some waist beads around they lady. Oh, it was a lot. Everything was a lot. And as we're making our way through, we talking with cha. I'm not trying to be on nothing. She not trying to be on nothing. We're all cool and we're having fun. We're meeting some extra people. And then I look around. I'm hearing folks talking about bump this, bump that. I'm like, bump what? What is going on? I'm thinking, bump and ride in a minute. Da-da-ba. That's what I'm thinking. The energy gets moving. I'm hearing it closer and closer and closer and closer. The girl I'm with is talking to her friend, like, oh, we could just da-da-da-da. And they both look at me and say, hey, would you want to bump on this? And I've always been told that the baddies will send you to hell. So you gotta turn your eyes and walk. I cannot be a part. I'm sorry. I cannot be. Because I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the devil on my shoulder talking about, so you just gonna say no to baddies. That's what you're gonna do. We went all across the world for you to say no to baddies. And I said, no. I can't. But beautifully enough, my homie come rescue me. He grabbed me on my shoulder. Hey man, how you doing? What's going on? He slides in, does the greatest cock blocking action of my life. He slip right in. He talks a little bit, and then we spin off. Man, just saved me from 99 years of headaches. But yeah, no, it was a crazy life. This is a crazy life. But speaking of doing some crazy things with some crazy folks and folks interrupting and butting their way in. Luke Cornett, when I catch you. Luke Cornett, when I catch you. The Atlanta Hawks find themselves in a collaboration with Magic City. But Adam Silver, he overthought it. He thought about it a little bit more. He said, nah, we can't let it out. I think he either postponed it or just canceled it all the way throughout. It made me shed one tear. It was supposed to be on March 16th. It was supposed to be on 2 days from now, a random Monday. A random Monday. You were supposed to see some of the baddies partnershiping up with the NBA. And that was causing a lot of potential outrage. There was folks saying this is a terrible thing. There's some people that were saying it was a great thing. There's a lot of people that were saying that this is such an integral part of the community that it would be disingenuous. It has been so long. It's been too long since the partnership has been created. We need to get ourselves intertwined with the Magic City, a pillar in the Atlanta community. If you didn't know, Magic City is a local strip clubs in Atlanta, and it's been a part of the community, in all honesty, where if you have been to Atlanta, you know what Magic City is. You know the connectivity that it has bring to the community. You know that it's such a pillar in the community that everybody, every celebrity, every actor, every musician, every athlete, they be in them clubs. You randomly see a clip of Leonardo DiCaprio doing... It's crazy. And... Wait, hold on. So prior to the game, let's add some more stuff that was going on. The Hawks principal owner and filmmaker and actor Jimmy Gertez and Magic City Kitchen will be serving two versions of their world famous lemon pepper wings. Lemon pepper Louisville wings. Lemon pepper barbecue and their traditional lemon pepper. You see lemon pepper Louisville? You see how the NBA is already intertwined? They're already making magic together. They're already connected in ways that we didn't even know. And I would like to say, number one, that could have been the craziest halftime show we've ever seen in the NBA. We've been one of the craziest two-piece combos we have ever seen. And I would like to also highlight, it feels like a missed opportunity. Because a lot of the pushback has come from, I don't want to say folks that just don't understand, but I feel like it's coming from this morality policing nature that folks just seem to overtly and not necessarily unintentionally, but overtly, and they just need the world to be on the same page of their own morality scales in terms of when it comes to sex and sexuality, right? And it gets frustrating, especially in the case of the NBA, because of over the past like 3-4 years, there has been such a pushback, a forgetting of the guard when it comes to the political standings amongst the league and where they stand on their morality, in a sense. Because of over the past couple of years, there has been an obsession, and I mean obsession, with connecting the NBA with gambling. Sports gambling has been rampant all throughout sports in America for the past couple of years, where you will see your favorite athletes collaborating with a DraftKings, with a Kelce, MGM. Every star has two gambling apps that they are intertwined with. But that is no, it's okay. That stuff is cool. We could talk about the alcohol. We could talk about the drug. We could talk about all these things. But sex is where folks are like, nah, we just can't go. We just can't go. And you know what? I get it. Sure, fine. Because of it's a thing that we can easily wrap our heads around and wrap it up into this real easy bow of this is just bad. Because in America, we already have this overarching belief system that sex work is not work. You could turn it, you could spin it, you can see however it is that you want. They do not respect it, and they do not believe it's a thing that should be protected on the long term. They see it as a thing that is destroying the fabric of society and community. When in all intents and purposes, not only is sex work objectively work, motherfuckers pay taxes. So let's just before we even talk about that stuff, strippers pay taxes, the clubs pay taxes, they all pay taxes. Everybody, they're all paying taxes. And we can talk about how it makes it even more dangerous to be a part of sex work because of not only has sex work will always be around, but we have went our way to intertwine it with the society that we already live in terms of like lust and things of that nature, where you will not go far without trying to find mugs that are trying to pay for it. You will not go far without finding someone that want to pay for it, right? And going out your way to have this and going out the way to have such a negative viewpoint on sex work in general, or anything that even has to do with the woman's sexual body in general, there will always be pushback, but that pushback only makes their job harder to do. It only makes it harder. But I'll talk about Luke Cornett. He has been the main one that has spoken out, or he's been the most like public figure that has been able to speak out on this whole controversy and the idea around it. So he has this quote. The NBA should desire to protect and esteem women, and allowing this night to go forward without protest would reflect poorly on us as an NBA community, specifically in being complicit in the potential objectification and mistreatment of women in our society. Yeah, fair. But I would like to highlight a couple things. Number one, when it comes to the job of being, like, let's say just for strippers in this general specific category, right? Number one, there's not too many jobs on this planet. They'll give a woman the opportunity to make $4,000, $5,000 in 2 weeks. There's not too many jobs that will do that without a college education. So not only are you removing a chance for a lot of these women to get a chance to work, but you're also demeaning what it means to have this type of job, right? Because of your own morality and your own specific standpoints of this idea, which, fine, everyone's entitled to an opinion. But I find it so disingenuous, especially since the path that the NBA and sports and athletes in general have been going on, because of they're the ones that are funding this. They are the folks that are going out their way to throw $50,000 in the air, that are actively paying for a lot of these people's lives, right? And then it feels like putting a lot of women in this position where you have the right to have me protect you. You are not smart enough, nor are you capable enough to be able to stand up for what you are doing, or you're not capable enough to say this is a job that you do not want to do. Everybody that is working this line of work does not want to do this line of work, which is crazy to me. That is just crazy. That is crazy. And if you don't want to go, fine. But now you're actively removing money out of so many people's lives, especially folks that are literally just dancers. Point blank, period. Especially even in regards to the money aspect, there's not too many companies that are able to pull in $1 million a month. That's on paper, $1 million a month. Do you know how much taxes that is generated off that $1 million a month, like a place like Magic City is able to generate? Can we be real? And not even to mention, people will always find people will always find a strip club to go to. People will always find sex for it to go to. But going out your way to vilify and be like, nah, this stuff is evil. This is wrong. This is evil. This is evil. This is wrong. This should not be allowed to exist. All it does is put people in danger. When you look around in your own team and multiple players on different teams where this is how they spend their off time. But that's just me, though. That's just my take on this whole thing. I'm thinking about this idea recently of what does chasing happiness really do for you, and what does it actually lead to? And what is the point? Because it feels like life's greatest mission is to distract yourself till you get buried and just hope that eventually that you do something so prolific that 3 generations after you, they still remember their great-great-grandfather, right? But as I sit here and reminisce and think about it, I don't remember my great-great-grandfather at all. Existence, disappearance. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to ask you, do you remember your great-great-grandfather? Do you remember your great-grandfather? Do you remember your grandfather? Can we answer these questions? And for some of us, it goes even deeper, where do you even remember your own family? And for some of us, it even goes even deeper, where do you even remember your own father like that? Do you even hold The folks Do you even hold the folks of the past to such esteem that you'd want to carry on their legacy past your own? And I've been thinking about that recently. And is it morbid? A little bit. Is it personable? Yeah. Is it needed and necessary? Is any of this? And that's what I like to talk about for the next 15 minutes before I go off my real life stuff. Okay, number one. The idea of chasing happiness feels like a slap in the face to not just reasoning, but to your day-to-day life as is. Because of the more that you look for happiness, you find yourself in this position of recognizing there is no happiness standard, nor happiness apple that you can grab. It kind of reminds me of trying to find the one piece where for everybody, it is a completely different idea, and it's this unattainable, potentially, if you work your whole life for, you might be able to get to that end of the story where you could grab that fruit by its suckle fruit and taste the supple. What am I even talking about? And you get to the chance of grabbing it and actually consuming it. But at that point, what is the point? Where is it going to go? Because of eventually you will digest that happiness and it will leave you like all other things. And it becomes this more evading experience where the more that you do look, the more that you find out that thing that you are looking for is the thing, but now it's not happiness anymore. For example, you could do in you could do it on the material aspects, where if you buy this one car, you buy this one house, you go to this one place, and then you realize that one place you went to, just like the other place that you went to, the car that you're driving now is the same car that you were driving when you were younger, and it just maybe costs a little bit more to fuel up, and the insurance is just more. So it's it has a cooler exterior, but eventually it gets to the point where it's fleeting. You don't remember how fun it felt the first time you got into that car. It's kind of like eating a cake. The first bite was the greatest bite. The second bite was the second greatest bite, and then so forth and onward. And then you get to the point where you are just sick of it. And guess what? The next time that you will think about that cake is when you throw that cake away. That's all it's gonna be. That's all it's gonna be. And you'll get to this, and then you'll get to this point of recognizing that this external focus will not lead to anything worthwhile. And not only will it not worthwhile at the end of it, but it's you kind of feel empty. It feels like trying to encapsulate feelings. Oh, nope, this is a better way. It feels like trying to encapsulate metaphysical qualities into physical substances, right? Trying to see the world in 4D when we are living in this 3D world. It's kind of like when you're watching a cartoon. Actually, no. Let me put it like this. It's kind of like when you're playing, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's like a 2D world, and then you finally get a 3D POV type of game, and it's like, wow, the graphics are so much better. You will never be able to describe this feeling to somebody that's living in this 2D world based off what you are doing. It's kind of like the allegory in the cave. When as you chilling in this cave, you will never be able to grasp the idea of you'll never be able to grasp the idea of a sunrise inside that cave. No matter how fantastically they draw with that chalk on that board, that oil on that board, it will never touch seeing that sunrise for the first time. And guess what? Me explaining that to you will never touch like seeing that sunrise for that first time. You don't know what a waterfall is. You've only been in that cave. You've only been able to experience that. You don't know what a lion, you don't know the majesticness of a horse based off that drawing, you caveman. You got to go see that horse run. But beyond that, the external focus gets so it's kind of deceiving, right? Because you could always tell yourself, I will be happy once I move up in this company, or I'll be happy when I get this new game or new thing, or on and on and on. The best case scenario that you can probably find yourself is saying, I will be happy once I have this like child, maybe. But we know that kind of falls on flat, i.e., we don't remember our grandparents. And it starts being this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes a self-fulfilling. It becomes a fulfilling is the word. Okay. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where the longer that you search, the farther it will be. And only when you are not thinking about happiness, that is when happiness will wash over you. Like, sometimes I reminisce about the past. I look backwards while living forward, right? And you find out that you are just in this realm of happiness. It feels like we can only describe happiness in the past tense, where once it has left us, we can look back on it fondly, but in the moment, it's hell on earth. For all better conversation is this terrible feeling of like, oh my God, it was so hectic trying to figure out a way to plan this picnic for everyone to bring their own food and be able to actually like chill and hang out and just like talk and chill, right? But then we sit back and we recognize none of that mattered. What mattered was the moment, was the specific instance of sitting together that communicated. Beyond the point. But the only thing that's left is but the only thing that's missing is you forget that what you are actually experiencing as happiness is the said moment that's being encapsulated, and trying to outlive it or trying to find something to, I don't know, equate to the feeling of community will not itch the spot that you're actually looking for, because of happiness can be found in all things, and happiness is in all things. It's more of a mindset that needs to be painted over the experience for you to be able to look at it with the same clean eyes and be like, oh yeah, no, this is when I was happy. The more that I think about it, the more that I recognize and the more that I sit back and think, I start to notice that the envisioning of what is to come will always attract of what is here. And it will be very important to be able to grasp what is here and be able to be like, okay, I am here for this moment and nothing will take me away from where I am right now. Yeah. And you tend to forget that one of the easiest ways to know that you're not having fun one of the easiest ways to know that you're not finding happiness is dissecting every opportunity that you get to be like, oh, I need to find something that I'm happy with. I'm just so unhappy with life and work and job and friends and and then you recognize you are able to control the fun that you are going to be having. That's a main point. You could change literally everything around you. You need to change the mindset first, which is hilarious because I would always clown folks that give the advice of, oh, you just got to change your mindset, bro. It's on your mind. You just got to, it's up here is the reason why you're unhappy. When sometimes that is exactly what is happening. There's this heathenistic treadmill that we're all forcing ourselves to run upon, right? It's kind of like how I mentioned it earlier, where no matter what trip that you take around this planet, it'll be the exact same trip that you had way back then. Let me explain. You think going to Bangkok to see them beaches is like, oh my God, it's fantastic. You think the Mykonos is amazing with their beach and their rooftop pool and all that stuff. But it's probably just as good as your beach in Miami. Sue me. It might just be as good as your beach in Puerto Rico. The food that you had in Nigeria is probably just as good as the food that you had when you're stateside. And your auntie went and created the greatest jollof rice you have ever tasted in your life. It's all equal. It's all seeing the same thing. And guess what? The only thing that's different is the context around it. You can fly first class as many times as you want. It won't be any better. It's just all the first classes are the same. All the plane rides are the same. It's all equivalent. It's all based off of the position of where you are mentally and how you're able to see that thing. And I always caution against the idea of believing that if you just spend more on this thing, it will lead you to be happier because you have spent more on that said thing, when you know that money will never be the thing that relieves you of the stress of this world. So in terms of trying to find that happiness, it is definitely indoors. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. But all right, y'all, now I'm done with the episode. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we out.